Last week, something happened that confirmed what we've all suspected for years. The Department of Justice released 3.5 million pages of files that revealed the network of one of the world's most notorious criminals. And what those files showed wasn't just shocking. It was proof. Proof that when you have enough money, the rules simply don't apply to you the same way they apply to everyone else. In 2008, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted. It was public record. Everyone knew. Yet 4 years later, Elon Musk was emailing him about parties on his private island. Bill Gates kept meeting with him for years. Peter Thiel stayed in contact. JP Morgan continued doing business with him. Over 20 tech CEOs and billionaires maintained relationships with a convicted sex offender. Why? Because he was useful. He had connections. He knew offshore strategies. He kept secrets. And in the world of the ultra-wealthy, utility beats morality every single time. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how this system works. But more importantly, you're going to learn 7 practical lessons that were accidentally revealed in those files. Not the illegal and disgusting stuff. Not Epstein's tactics, but the wealth-building principles that the elite use every single day. Some of them use these principles legally, some don't. But you can take the legal versions of these strategies and apply them to build your own wealth. Especially lesson number 5, because that's the one that protects everything else you build. First, let me be clear about something. This isn't a video defending anyone. This isn't about learning from Epstein. This is about understanding a system that exists whether we like it or not, and then figuring out which parts of that system we can legally use to build wealth ourselves. The files revealed a network, a way of operating, a set of principles. And while we can't change the fact that the rich play by different rules, we can extract the lessons and apply the legal versions. Here's what really happened. After Epstein's 2008 conviction, any normal person would be radioactive. You couldn't get a job. You couldn't open a bank account without scrutiny. Your life would be over. But Epstein, he kept his island, he kept his wealth, and more importantly, he kept his connections. Bill Gates met with him multiple times, even after his wife expressed concerns. Elon Musk's emails show he was seeking introductions. Steven Sinofsky, a former Microsoft executive, used Epstein to negotiate a $14 million exit package. Think about that. A convicted criminal was helping negotiate corporate deals. The files also revealed something most people missed. Epstein wasn't just a criminal. He was a financial middleman. There's an email in those files where he's planning to help seize $80 billion in frozen Libyan assets, taking a 10 to 25% cut. That's not the behaviour of someone who's been cut off from the system. That's someone who's still deeply embedded in it. And the people who stayed connected to him knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't naivety. This was calculated. Now here's where it gets interesting for us. Buried in all that darkness are patterns, strategies, methods that the wealthy use to build and protect fortunes. And while Epstein used many of these methods illegally or immorally, the underlying principles themselves aren't inherently evil. They're just tools. So let's talk about what you can actually learn and apply. Let's start with lesson number 1. Your network is your net worth. Build it strategically. The files revealed something crucial. Epstein's power didn't come from his own money. It came from being a connector. He knew everyone. He could introduce a tech CEO to a world leader. He could connect an investor to an opportunity. He was valuable because he sat at the center of a network. Here's the principle you can use. In the modern economy, your network is often worth more than your skills. A software engineer with connections to venture capitalists will out-earn a better engineer with no network. A real estate investor who knows developers, contractors, and lenders will outperform someone who just has capital. The question is, how do you build a valuable network without doing anything shady? Start by becoming valuable to your network before asking for anything in return. Epstein understood this. He would do favors, make introductions, provide access. By the time someone realized how connected he was, they were already indebted to him. You can do the same thing legally. Join industry groups, attend conferences, participate in online communities. But don't go there to ask for things. Go there to give, answer questions, share knowledge. Make introductions between people who can help each other. Over time, you become known as a connector, and that position is incredibly valuable. Think about LinkedIn strategically. Most people treat it like a resume, but the wealthy treat it like a relationship map. They connect people. They endorse skills, genuinely. They share opportunities. A friend of mine built a consulting business that generates over $300,000 a year, simply by being the person who introduces founders to investors. He doesn't have capital, he has relationships. That's the lesson. Money flows through networks, and if you position yourself in the center of a valuable network, money flows through you. Lesson 2. Offshore strategies are legal when done right. The files mentioned Virgin Islands entities, offshore accounts, and complex financial structures. Most people hear offshore and think illegal. That's not accurate. Offshore financial structures are completely legal when used properly. The problem is when people use them to hide taxable income or evade reporting requirements. But asset protection, international diversification, those are legitimate. Here's what you need to know. If you're building wealth in the United States, you pay taxes on worldwide income. That's the law. But once you've paid those taxes, you're allowed to hold assets internationally. You can have a bank account in Singapore. You can own property in Portugal. You can set up a business structure in a low-tax jurisdiction, as long as you're reporting everything properly. Why would someone do this? Protection. If you have significant assets, holding everything in one country is risky. Lawsuits happen. Governments change. Currencies fluctuate. Wealthy people spread their assets across multiple jurisdictions because it reduces risk. That's not illegal. That's smart. For most people watching this, offshore structures don't make sense until you're at least in the multiple six figures of net worth, maybe higher. But the principle applies at every level. Diversify. Don't keep all your money in one bank. Don't keep all your investments in one country's market. Don't put all your trust in one system. The moment you start thinking internationally, you start thinking like the wealthy think. There's a clear line between tax avoidance, which is legal, and tax evasion, which is not. Avoidance means using legal strategies to minimize taxes. Evasion means hiding income or lying on returns. Offshore accounts used for diversification and protection. Avoidance. Offshore accounts used to hide taxable income. Evasion. Know the difference. Use the first. Never touch the second. Lesson 3. Do serious due diligence on everyone you work with. Here's one of the most shocking parts of the files. These billionaires ignored obvious red flags. Epstein had a public criminal record. His wealth had no clear source. His lifestyle didn't match any known business, yet they kept working with him. Why? Because they wanted what he offered, and they let greed override caution. This is the opposite of what you should do. Every financial advisor, every business partner, every investment opportunity should be vetted thoroughly. And I mean thoroughly. If someone is offering you a financial service, you should be checking their background, their credentials, their history. If someone is pitching you an investment, you should be looking at third-party verification, not just trusting their word. Here's a checklist. First, verify licenses and credentials through official channels, not through documents they provide. Second, search for any legal judgments, bankruptcies, or criminal records. Third, ask for references and actually call them. Fourth, if an opportunity requires you to move fast or not do research, that's a red flag. Legitimate opportunities don't disappear because you take 2 weeks to do your homework. One of the wealthiest people I know has a simple rule. Before working with anyone on a financial matter, he runs a background check, searches court records, and talks to at least 3 people who've worked with that person. It takes time, it's not exciting. But it saved him from multiple scams over the years. The billionaires in the Epstein files didn't do this. Or they did and ignored what they found. Don't make that mistake. The moment someone tells you an opportunity is too good to be true, believe them. It probably is. The moment someone pressures you to decide fast, walk away. Real opportunities can wait for due diligence. Scams can't. Lesson 4. Your reputation is an asset. Protect it ruthlessly. The files had real financial consequences for people whose names appeared. Bill Gates' ex-wife cited his meetings with Epstein as part of their divorce. That's a personal cost, but there were financial ones too. JP Morgan paid $290 million to settle claims related to Epstein. Peter Mandelson lost his position as UK ambassador to the United States. Reid Hoffman's reputation took a hit. These are tangible costs. Here's the lesson. Your reputation is a financial asset. It determines who will work with you, invest with you, hire you, or partner with you. Once it's damaged, rebuilding takes years. Protecting it should be a priority from day one. This means being careful about your associations. One photo can last forever. One business partnership with the wrong person can define you for years. Before you associate with someone publicly, whether it's a business partner, an event, or even a social media connection, ask yourself if you'd be comfortable defending that association 5 years from now. Keep your financial life private. Don't post about big purchases. Don't brag about deals. Don't make yourself a target. The files revealed that Epstein loved being seen with famous people. He collected associations like trophies. Many of those people now regret every photo. The lesson? Stealth wealth isn't just about safety from criminals. It's about safety from association. If you own assets, consider holding them in LLCs or trusts. This isn't about hiding anything illegal. It's about privacy. When your name isn't directly on property records, you're less likely to be targeted by lawsuits or scams. That's legal asset protection, and it's something the wealthy do as a standard practice. Lesson 5. Privacy equals power in the modern world? This is the big one. The reason those files caused so much damage is because everything became public. Emails, photos, flight logs, meeting schedules, all of it exposed, and once it's public, it can never be taken back. The wealthy understand that privacy is power. The less people know about your financial situation, the safer you are. The files showed that Epstein operated through multiple entities, used intermediaries, and kept much of his activity out of the public eye. That's a principle you can apply legally. Start with social media. Stop posting about money, stop posting about purchases, stop checking in at expensive locations. Every piece of information you put online is permanent and can be used against you. Criminals look for targets on Instagram. Lawyers look for assets on Facebook. The smart move is to stay quiet. For larger assets, use legal structures. If you buy a rental property, hold it in an LLC, not your personal name. If you have significant investments, consider a trust. These aren't tools for hiding illegal activity. They're tools for maintaining privacy and protecting assets from lawsuits or creditors. A friend who owns 3 rental properties had someone slip and fall at one of them. Because the property was in an LLC, the lawsuit couldn't touch his other assets or his personal savings. That's legal protection. Think about digital privacy too. Use strong passwords. Enable 2-factor authentication on financial accounts. Be careful about what you share in emails because emails can be subpoenaed. The more private your financial life is, the harder it is for anyone to target you, whether that's a scammer, a lawsuit, or even just someone asking for money. The ultra-wealthy operate in silence. They don't announce deals, they don't post wins. They build quietly and let results speak later. That's a mindset you can adopt at any level of wealth. Lesson 6. Build multiple income streams, never depend on one. The files revealed that Epstein had income from multiple sources: advisory fees, investment returns, real estate, and various entities. This is a pattern you see with every wealthy person. They don't have one job, they have multiple streams. Here's why that matters. If you have one income source and it disappears, you're in crisis. If you have 3 or 4, losing one is inconvenient but not devastating. Start small. Most people begin with a W-2 job. That's stream 1. Add stream 2 by investing in index funds or dividend stocks. Even $50 a month adds up over time. Add stream 3 with a small side business, freelancing, or a digital product. A teacher I know has her salary, dividend income from a portfolio she built over 10 years, and a side business tutoring online. None of the side streams match her salary yet, but together they add about $1,500 a month. That's $18,000 a year in extra income, all of which she reinvests. Over time, those side streams grow. The key is to start streams that can run without consuming all your time. Dividend stocks pay you while you sleep. A digital course sells while you're at work. Rental income arrives monthly without daily effort. Active income, where you trade hours for dollars, has a ceiling. passive or semi-passive income scales. Diversification protects you. It also accelerates wealth building because multiple streams compound together. Instead of putting all your extra money into one investment, you're building several assets at once. The files showed that Epstein understood this principle. You can apply the same idea legally and ethically. Lesson 7. The legal path is boring, but it wins long term. Here's the final lesson, and it's the most important one. Epstein took shortcuts. He built wealth through methods that were illegal, immoral, or both. And for a while it looked like he was winning. He had an island. He had powerful friends. He seemed untouchable. But in the end, he died in a jail cell. And everyone connected to him is now dealing with the fallout. Compare that to someone like Warren Buffett. Buffett built wealth slowly, legally and publicly. He paid taxes. He followed rules. He didn't take shortcuts. And now, at over 90 years old, he's still respected, still wealthy and still free. The legal path is boring. It's slow. It doesn't make for exciting stories, but it's the one that lasts. Every single shortcut in finance comes with a risk. Maybe it's legal risk. Maybe it's reputational risk. Maybe it's the risk that your method stops working. The moment you cut corners, you introduce fragility into your wealth. Clean money, built through legal businesses, legal investments, and proper tax payments, is anti-fragile. It survives scrutiny. It survives market changes. It survives time. The files revealed people who thought they were too powerful to face consequences. They were wrong. The Deputy Attorney General said new charges are unlikely, but the reputational damage is permanent. Careers were hurt, marriages ended, companies paid settlements, all because people chose utility over morality and shortcuts over stability. You don't need shortcuts. Compound interest works. Index funds work. Building a real business works. Buying assets that generate cash flow works. It's boring. It takes time. But it's the path that actually leads to lasting wealth. And it's the path where you can sleep at night, knowing that everything you built is clean and defensible. So let's bring this together. The Epstein files confirmed what many suspected. The ultra-rich operate in a different world with different rules. They have access to strategies, networks, and structures that most people never see. And yes, some of them use those tools illegally or immorally. But that doesn't mean the underlying principles are useless to us. Here's what you actually learned today. Your network is worth more than your skills, so build it strategically by providing value first. Offshore structures and international diversification are legal when used for protection, not evasion. Due diligence on every person. An opportunity is non-negotiable if you want to protect your wealth. Your reputation is a financial asset that takes years to build and seconds to destroy. Privacy is power, and the less people know about your money, the safer you are. Multiple income streams protect you from disaster and accelerate your wealth building. And the legal, boring path beats shortcuts every single time, because it's the only path that lasts. These aren't Epstein's secrets. These are wealth-building principles that have existed for decades. The elite use them. Some use them legally, some don't. But you can take the legal versions of these strategies and start applying them today. You don't need a private island. You don't need billions. You just need to understand how the system works, and then use the parts of it that are available to you. Start tonight. Pick one lesson from this video. Maybe it's auditing your network and figuring out how to provide more value. Maybe it's researching how to hold your next asset in an LLC for privacy. Maybe it's starting that second income stream you've been thinking about. Whatever it is, take one action before you go to bed. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. The system won't change overnight. The rich will keep playing by different rules. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you need to be smarter, more strategic, and more disciplined than the people who think shortcuts will save them. The Epstein files showed us the cost of shortcuts. Now it's your turn to choose the path that actually works. And you're so sharp that I bet you've already subscribed to this channel. Right? If you haven't, do it now. And leave a like to see more videos like this in the future. Let me know in the comments which of these 7 lessons hit hardest for you, and what's the first action you're going to take tonight. I'll see you soon.